fun you're gonna get. Welcome, this is the BMW Z3 and today I want to talk about whether or not you can daily this car because it is a little bit like a matchbox car. You buy it, you put it in the corner and every now and again you pull it out and you play with it and then you put it back never to be seen again. But today I want to discuss some factors that make this BMW Z3 the perfect daily car and also the worst daily car. So let's get straight into the video.
Oh my god, it worked.
So can you daily a BMW?
Yes, as long as you're willing to fix it.
Well, first things first, as we all know, the BMW Z3 is a two-seater. So if you have a growing family, obviously this is not going to be the car that's going to suit you. But generally, if you're carrying around the one person or you're just with your partner, then this might be the perfect car for you. So keep watching. So the next point I want to make is the weather and where you live. At the moment, I mean, the sun is shining, I'm not going to lie to you, but it was raining very, very heavily. I'll show you. The sun is shining, however, it is wet, and as a result, that Z3 will not be leaving that carport. So when you are considering on dailying a BMW Z3, you really do need to consider the weather. It's one of the biggest factors because I'm going to be the first to tell you that it was made in the 90s. It's not a brand new car at the moment, and chances are she's going to let a little bit of water in. So be mindful if you get really, really bad weather. It may not be the car for you, and not to mention that if it does get quite hot as well, it may not be the car for you. So I can hear it now. Chris, why wouldn't you drive this car in warm weather? Well, to be quite honest, even with the roof on, it gets stinking hot inside the car. If you've got the hard top on it, it does help a little bit. However, it gets really hot, and chances are you probably never want to take that roof off in hot climates. So yeah, hot weather, not a good car, and cold weather, not a good car either. Now you have to consider that obviously you're going to have to do the shopping in it, and to be quite honest, considering that the car is a two-seater, there is a fair bit of room in this thing. So going to the shops really shouldn't be an issue unless, of course, you like to eat a lot. Now, being a car from 1997 obviously means that you're not going to have the creature comforts of today's cars and their technology. However, considering it is a 1997, this particular model has heated seats, electrically controlled seats, cruise control. Yes, of course, no adaptive cruise control, but it has the main core functions that the newer cars have. Obviously, if you are looking at your Android Auto or your Apple CarPlay, then unfortunately from factory, we're definitely not going to have those features. However, the good news is that we actually have a single DIN. Now, you can go down to your local audio shop and get an Apple CarPlay or an Android Auto device very cheaply installed. So you have all the features that a new car has. So summing up, it's not a bad option, and you're not going to miss out on many features if you do go down this route and make this car your everyday driver. So the next important factor is obviously reliability with this car. Is it a reliable car that you're going to be able to turn that key and confidently drive to work or go on a holiday each and every time? And the short answer is yes. There is some important factors to take into consideration. The cooling systems on these cars are quite fragile. So if you live in a really hot climate, it is imperative that you maintain the cooling system because it can crap out on you pretty easily. The rear subframes do crack. They are known for quite a few oil leaks. The Vanos problems, yeah, they have their problems, but overall, taking into consideration the entire package, it is quite a reliable car. Now take this into consideration, that is, if this is a car that you're going to be taking to the mechanic each and every time that it breaks, it can get expensive. They see the BMW logo and they tend to charge more for it. The good news is the parts aren't overly expensive, and maintaining this car, if you do it yourself, can be quite a cheap exercise. So overall, reliability, check. So we've talked a lot about the BMW Z3, the storage capacity in the trunk and the reliability, but when it really comes down to it, there is not a lot of space inside the cabin. Even simply putting a bottle of water anywhere is pretty much impossible, and there are no cup holders to see at all either. So trying to drink in this car, which is sort of, you know, a modern day thing to expect, it just can't be achieved in this car. You can fit a bottle of water behind the seat, but that's about it. I mean, having a cup of coffee, impossible. There are some options on eBay where you can convert the center console into a cup holder. There's some really expensive options. I think it's like a genuine part from BMW, which is very expensive. Some people are starting to 3D print some cup holders now, so there's some other options, but yeah, from factory, there's nowhere to put anything. You only really have a very small glove box. There is a very small amount of space, you know, in the glove box as well, and behind the seat. But apart from that, not a lot going on in here. As you can sort of hear as well, it is a very windy day here, and you do tend to get a bit of wind noise through as well, which is to be expected, obviously, for a convertible. However, it's a little bit noisy, so if you were doing long trips, it could get a little bit annoying too. Now, if you are on the heavier side, unfortunately, this car doesn't really cater for very large people. If you do have quite thick legs, this steering wheel is quite large, and you'll find that your legs actually hit on the steering wheel. So if you are quite a large person, unfortunately, this car is going to be a very difficult car to drive. Me personally, I actually find the seating quite comfortable. I know some people have sat in this car and said it is quite an uncomfortable car, so it is really going to be preference here. But I found that you know, the side bolsters don't offer a lot of support, but there's enough there for me personally to keep me comfortable on long journeys. Being an older car, it is very shaky and very rattly, so that's something you're going to have to get used to. Around town, this is going to be a very easy car to drive because it is such a small car. You know, fitting into car parks and maneuverability, plus the small turning circle, really does make this the ideal car to drive in really tight spaces. Obviously, the automatic is going to be an advantage over the manual in relation to drivability, but yeah, very easy car to drive and a very small car. My other car is a four-wheel drive, and trying to fit that in anywhere is getting more and more difficult. Seems to me that they're really making these car parks even smaller. But summing up, can you daily a BMW Z3? Well, of course you can. It really is going to come down to personal preference here as to whether or not it's suitable for yourself. But of course you can daily this thing. It's a solid, reliable car. It has enough boot space to do your general sort of shopping. Obviously, it's not going to cater you know, if you're going down to the hardware store and picking up roof sheets and stuff like that. But overall, the BMW Z3 is a car that's going to look after you as long as you look after it. But to be quite honest, would I want to daily the Z3? My heart says no. I wouldn't want to daily this car, you know, every day. I'm very fortunate that I also have a four-wheel drive, which has a big tub at the back. I have a tow bar, so, you know, I can use a trailer to go and get stuff. It's because of the sort of person that I am. You know, it just really doesn't suit my needs to have this car as a daily. I would struggle a lot if it was my one and only sole car. But can you daily? Yeah, you can. So hope you enjoyed the video, and of course we will see you in the very next video.